Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment from level1gamer.com. Congratulations, you guys are leveled up to 155. This is the Double XP podcast. We have lots of topics to talk about tonight. The meme box is in full effect. We have a returning guest and a new guest out at the same time, so it should be a great show. I'm going to get started with the introductions. The man that formerly used to be to my right, the man with the clamps, Citizen Snips.
What's going on, everybody? I really don't have too much to say as far as an introduction goes. Miles is back. We've got another guest with us. I don't know. You guys can correct me here. I have a terrible memory. I don't think anybody's ever come back before. So this is
Dreamcast Guy, Cog, Hustle, Trevor. We've had a couple come back.
I don't think any of those count. I don't think they count. None of their cameras looked as crisp. Okay.
I mean, Cogs looked pretty crisp.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just wrong. Okay. How about that? All right. But yeah, it should be a good show. We've got some interesting news in gaming and fun, interesting guests to talk to. So yeah, it'll be a blast.
If your phones are ringing and your DMs are blowing up and your email box is full, that's because the communication director of Level 1 Gaming, Baron J67, is trying to get in contact with you. What's going on, B?
Man, just out here always looking for sponsorships. Your product can go here. And I'm just ready to see Demi have to eat a cap. Like that. That's all I'm waiting to see. That's what we're here for. Let's do it.
Next up, my right hand man, Slim Hugger. What's going on, sis?
Not much. I'm glad to be back and here with this crazy bunch. Shout out to my Edmonton Oilers starting their playoff run in hockey tonight. Hopefully we win. If not, maybe we'll burn the city to the ground again. But I'm glad to be back and talk some not football, talk some video games with you guys and just see how the night goes.
Next up, DALLAZ.
Man.
I was waiting for which one of y'all going to give first.
We got a show to do. Come on, y'all.
Oh my God.
Man.
Thanks for coming.
Oh,
God damn it. God damn it, man. I don't know how you been getting me these last few shows, man, but goddamn. And it's funny because if you just hop in here with no context and don't know what we just did, you probably just clicked off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, but for real, we got Miles back. It's crazy. And we got new friends. If you're not afraid to call yourself my friend in public, like Fame. But I'm ready to get it going.
We don't know that, man.
Hey, you ain't gotta know me, sucker. Yo, next up, a returning guest with the crispiest camera you've ever seen. The originator of the Triple XP podcast from Windows Central. Miles, what's going on, Chief?
What is going on, everybody? Stoked to be back with the squad. It's been a hot minute, but Excited for the invite. Excited to talk some games, and yeah, whenever you're ready to dive into that triple XP, spice this thing up. Let me know. I'll drop some sultry tones for you there.
Oh, okay.
Better watch out. We got women that watch this. Not a lot, but we do. So we don't need any ovaries exploding.
They're just here for hugging. Sorry.
They come for hug, but they're gonna stay for Miles and the triple XP show. That's what's
I'm
gonna
down
happen.
for that.
Oh, we lost somebody. But listen, last but not least, we do have a new guest with us today. The only other person besides myself that's still playing Marvel's Avengers because hey, we just all happen to like the game. Matt, aka Assemble Show. What's going on, brother?
Hi. I don't know how to intro shows.
That was a very enthusiastic hi.
Hey.
Like it lifted my spirits.
Thank you. Well, I'm trying to help you mostly. Snips. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me, guys. I'm excited. We'll talk some games. Yeah,
Indeed.
They were the only ones that have any hand in Marvel's Avengers, but they're making a comeback. Did you see the Iron Man skin?
Yes.
The MCU Endgame one?
Yes, it was
I
nice.
was excited for that.
It was nice.
It was nice. The Hawkeye one got me all upset.
I'm really waiting for War for Wakanda to come. I'm so excited about that. I hope it's bigger than the last two DLCs because I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed how short the last two were. They were like, oh, it was done in like 6 minutes.
Like, yeah, it was maybe a Saturday at an hour and a half, and I was like, huh, all right then.
Cool. I guess I'll go back to grinding.
For nothing.
For nothing. Hey, before we get started, Matt, you are new to the show, so I do want to do a little bit of a breakdown about who you are. So if you could, tell us who is Matt, who is Assemble Show, and how you really got into YouTube, because you are a really, really fast-growing channel. I remember when you first started posting, and I put a comment, I was like, this is quality content. You're going to go really fast. Like, I saw the quality in your content immediately. So who is Matt? What is Assemble Show, and how you really got into YouTube?
So it's youtube.com/assemble show. The show's been going for about a year, just over a year now. And it's just a lot to do with all the nerdy stuff that we all love when it comes to gaming, all the main stuff that's in the news nowadays, which I actually really enjoy covering nowadays. Any of the main games that I'm playing at least, and I enjoy just kind of researching and going through the latest news, updates, things like that. And then when we get into things like Marvel and DC news. So anything that's coming over on the movie side, but I'm just kind of sticking my world and stick with what I kind of pretend to know about. But I've been doing it for about a year, and I actually just love it. And I love the community, and it's just been a fun process of getting things set up and, trying to get something off the ground here. So it's been a blast.
No, man, you've been doing a hell of a good job. I wish Baron was still in here. I think he had internet connection issues, but because he hadn't heard you before, and I was like, dude, check out Matt, check out his channel, and like he instantly was like flipping through all of your content. So, dude, high quality content, like really keep it up. You have a great show.
Thanks.
And one thing I do love is you're so diverse in your content. Like you don't just stick to one particular thing. Like you have some diversity.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's a tricky thing, right? Because it's on one hand, I can see that some videos might do exceptionally well,
yes.
And you're like, oh, okay, it's a fluke, or people are interested in the topic or whatever. But then there is the risk, I feel, of well, then you keep doing that, and then that just becomes what you're synonymous for, and what you are, and at the same token, YouTube doesn't like you if it's going to be like, well, you're too diverse and you're covering a little bit of everything, and then no one's watching anything. But at the end of the day, I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the process of making content and putting it out there. And if one person's watching, then great, then it's a win. So yeah,
I love that mentality.
I like that mentality.
That's how I am. I tell people all the time, if you got two people consistently in your stream every day, entertain those two people, because those two people are going to tell two other people, and that's you got four people. And just keep rocking, man. Just keep going. Growth, slow and steady. I'm used to it. We're doing the same thing here at Level 1, slow and steady growth. Someone who's been growing like super fast, and I love how his popularity is going through the roof, is Miles. Miles is becoming a household name in gaming, and the chatter days is becoming one of the best things you can look forward to on your weekends. Miles, how's things been going, man? How is the chatter days treating you, brother?
Man, I really appreciate that hype, that enthusiasm. It's been really cool to see. I've just been trying to have fun with it. If you don't know who I am, I do pretty much most of the video production for Windows Central Gaming. Obviously, more Xbox and PC focused. But yeah, doing a Saturday podcast, a live podcast every Saturday called Xbox Chatterdays. And a lot of people keep telling me it's really cool, and that's really cool to hear. And I keep getting to sit down and talk with a bunch of really cool people consistently. So I'm stoked on it. It's been going really well, and I'm really excited. Just trying to have fun and just get in there and chat with folks, and that's the whole goal.
Cool. Well, listen, I hopefully Baron gets back in here because I know he has some things to talk about in our discussions tonight. But we're gonna jump right into the first topic, and it's pretty much it's rumor mill time, right? Right before we get to the summer months, and we've got E3 and Summer Game Fest. Rumors start to kick in. Everyone's on the 4chans, the Reddits, the Twitters, and it only takes one person with some sort of credibility to get the rumor mill circulating, right? And the one I thought was super interesting because it's making people bring up Cyberpunk is Tom Cruise possibly being in Starfield, right? So if you haven't heard, and I can tell old Snip's face, there's a rumor circulating that Tom Cruise will be in Starfield in some which way or form. And immediately people go to, it's going to suck because Keanu Reeves was a Cyberpunk and that game bombed and everyone hated it. Although it scored pretty well and it sold millions upon millions of copies, right? Millions of copies. So yeah. Talk about doing bad, right? Did great. So I don't want necessarily, well, we can discuss whether or not we think the rumor is true or not, but I really want to talk about the impact you guys think of games like this having that big Hollywood, star in a game, whether that detracts from the game or not. I do want to start with you, Miles. What do you think about the rumor, and what do you think about having those big A-list movie celebrities in video games?
I love it. I have heard that Tom Cruise is playing the moon in Starfield, so it should be a really great showing from him. Top tier performance.
He has to run in every movie. The moon can't run, or can it?
Can the moon do its own stunts? That's what we're going to find out in Starfield. No, I heard that rumor going around. It's hilarious to me, but I don't think, long term, that we are, in a world where video games are becoming more and more mainstream, and video games are trying to appeal to a wider and wider audience. And pretty much everyone watches TV, everyone watches movies. So a way to pull in the average person who maybe wouldn't be interested is to get an A-list celebrity like Tom Cruise in your game, or Keanu Reeves. Keanu's universally beloved, whereas I feel like Tom Cruise is not. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's just me, but
you're right there.
As a fundamental human being, I don't think Tom Cruise is that popular on the internet in this day and age. So I don't know how successful that would be if it's true, but I don't know about this rumor. I haven't seen anything about Tom Cruise being in Starfield, but long term, I could definitely see more A-list celebrities in video games.
Okay,
this
Matt.
isn't the first time we've seen stars in video games either.
But of that caliber, though, I mean, I think about
Kevin Spacey was in Advanced Warfare. Mr. Spacey, not a good name, but
Kit Harington.
Yikes. Big spikes.
Yeah. Norman Reedus. Rami Malek was in Until Dawn. Burt Reynolds, Saints Row, whatever. Terry Crews, Crackdown 3. Burt Reynolds really was in everything. Phil Collins was in Vice City Stories. Gary Coleman was in Postal 2, although the biggest name probably was Martin Sheen was in the Mass Effect trilogy. He was the elusive man.
I don't know.
It's not the first time.
Some of those names I get, but when I hear Terry Crews, I don't think of A-list actors. When I think of
technically Terry Crews is in Hollywood.
I was about to say
not to
that
us.
guy.
I don't think there's any more stunts that you can do IRL that'll top anything you do in a video game. And maybe Tom Cruise is just like, shit, I want to jump off of a building on a flaming car or whatever he does in movies. I'm not really a Tom Cruise fan.
He just wants another paycheck.
But I will tell you this though, for real.
Mission Impossible. I ain't even going.
I'll tell you this though, since I'm pretty much the only gamer in the room a lot of times. Whenever I'm trying to get a normie, aka my family, to play a game or be interested in the game, I usually start with the celebrity thing. You already know them, you already care about them. When I played Quantum Break for the first time, I told my girl, "Hey, Littlefinger's in it." She was down. She was with it. At that,
Yeah.
so yeah, like tell me anybody from Game of Thrones was in it, I'm down. So I think it really comes down to just the game and if it's good, duh. But I don't think it. I don't know. It's just weird because it's Tom Cruise. Because think about all these
Yeah.
other celebrities that Hugger just rattled off. Like this is off the top of her head. It's off the dome. So like,
Well, also Mark Hamill, the
Mark
ultimate
Hamill,
celebrity.
Oh yeah.
Batman.
if it's anything, like think about looking at movies and seeing like people from video games in it. I know that sounds crazy, but Mark Hamill and freaking David Hayter was in The Guyver, so together. So
Right?
I mean, Solid Snake and Luke Skywalker
I
in the
think it's
same
just-
movie. That's the weird stuff.
You're right. It's Tom Cruise and Matt. I just want to get your thoughts on this because, I mean, there's only so much running and all this we can take of Tom Cruise,
there?
and I'm personally not a fan of his,
No,
especially
there's-
after the Oprah rant on Scientology. It's like, I don't.
But it could
not
be
a fan
it
of
could be that it's their first choice. Look at the Uncharted films or trying to get the Uncharted movie off the ground, right? Where it's how many actors were like listed as like this is who we want, who we got pegged for it, and it just keeps changing. And it's the same thing in movies, right? Like I know nothing in the movie industry, but there's always like, well, it's rumored that Tom Cruise is going to be in this film. Well, that's who they want, or who they're pitching, or they're trying to get for it, and maybe it doesn't work out. And if this was true, we assume that it's a giant role. Maybe he's narrating the story of it, right? Tom's got a very beautiful voice to
He
do
does.
that. But he might be a character. He might be doing the first introductory piece of the game, and maybe he is the father or whatever, the great king or whatever the heck the game is going to be. But maybe he's
That's a better question.
that's kind of a better question than what Tom Cruise is doing in it, because
right?
What will we be doing in the game?
what will we be doing? We know what Tom Cruise is doing in it, but nobody knows what the damn game is.
Well, space.
Maybe he'll stick like a Liam
all you need
Neeson
to know.
Fallout 3 role, or like a Sting during Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, where Sting was the narrator for the whole game.
Now you're talking. You
Like
got
that.
Liam Neeson in there, and he's narrating this planetary thing, and he's exploring it, going like, I don't know what's going on.
And then as we get
What
closer
is
to
it?
whatever the prime ultimate climax of the game, and Morgan Freeman's voice as God kicks in. It's like, yes.
Listen, Morgan Freeman can do anything, and I will participate in it. Like when he popped up
Once you
in
play
South
God,
Park,
it's over. You play whatever you want.
was it Fractured Butthole or was it the original South Park game?
Extra butthole.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm all for this. I'm all for Morgan Freeman being in video games. Like he can't do no wrong in my opinion. Like when he dies, I'm gonna take bereavement from work. Like I'm not even joking. Like I'm gonna take time because
Don't put that juju out. Don't put that juju out.
man,
No,
we
bro,
just
he's
gonna follow, you know.
he's immortal like Betty White. Like they're gonna outlive
Betty White,
all of
man.
us. They're gonna
Now
outlive
you're
all of
putting
us.
God, I hope they do.
Yeah, you
too much,
you put
too much
you-
right now.
Yeah, come on, man.
Do you not even watch anime?
Yeah, like you can't. Come on,
I
man.
don't have a death note out here. Calm down.
If you mention them in the show, stuff does happen. See? Semble's on the right track.
It's
ATL
true.
in the chat. If you guys are active in the chat, we will read your stuff. Says sometimes you do stuff because your kids think it will be cool.
That
His
is
kids are
true.
in their teens.
Does he care about his kids?
Oh God!
Jesus.
Sorry.
Wow.
I'm just doing it for the
Yeah.
children.
Or it could be
No,
like
the
a
kid.
Hugh Jackman. His kids don't
Yeah.
even care that he's Wolverine. They're like, I don't really care.
That's gotta
My
bother
dad's
him a
Wolverine.
little bit. Like a little bit.
little.
Where he's like, I'm mother effing Wolverine.
Like the
Right?
only Wolverine, the
Yeah.
only live action Wolverine.
I'm a
And it's
generation for Wolverine.
I
Yeah.
try not to judge children too harshly, but his
No, I
kids-
do. I judge my kids.
Yeah.
Real,
Oh,
real,
my God.
real hard.
like- Yeah, I'll be
No,
looking at him like,
hang
come on,
on,
man,
we
you did
gotta
way
Or
clarify.
your
better.
2-year-old's better.
Yeah, but Kev, you're not a dad. These
We gotta
three are.
clarify.
All the
Pain-
parents were like, yeah, I'll judge my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge,
I
Pain
judge
will
you.
judge his son. His daughter can do whatever she wants.
Oh no, I've been in
like a cheap lawn
last
chair.
week. Last week we were on a call and he tore that ass up
Yeah.
because she was
Man,
not
I had
listening
to-
to
It
him.
was,
I-
it was,
I-
all,
I had-
it was all
I had to
front.
talk to
You
her.
don't know
I had
what
to talk
happened
to her.
afterwards. He took her out for ice cream and apologized.
I don't get very stern
Bought
with
her-
my daughter
bought her
very
a-
often.
a
I don't get stern with her
bottle
very
of
often.
Yeah, I'm saying if that happened, that was the one time.
Yeah, I don't
You
get stern with
like
her
guys
very often.
ever with your friends that have kids and they yell and you like straighten up? That's what happened during that call because Fame started yelling. I was like, I'm sorry, sir. What?
Dad
What?
voice.
Yeah, pull out that voice.
Bad voice.
Do the
Probably-
step forward. Just the lean forward.
Oh, the
Oh,
presence, hey,
Man,
it's so
that's a dark
crazy.
thought.
I had oh god, children. Oh man,
I
And
do
I'm
it. My
dealing
kids are
with the-
little, so I'll do like the lean like right down,
Mhm.
right into their ear, and I'm like, "What is it?"
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
And they
get to
turn
a
my
knee,
head.
bro.
Then they get
Yeah.
quieter. I'm like, "I can't hear. I can't
Yeah,
hear you."
what
This is
happened? Yep. Oh,
terrifying.
I'll hit the knee real quick and be like, "Baby, what would you say? Speak up." Yep, I know. Yep. Did Daddy hear you right?
But we know Tom Cruise doesn't do that for his kids, so he's not going to do this game.
I mean,
for
they're the
his
same
kids.
height.
I'm bigger than a planet.
He's got him. He's got him there.
I'm
Got him.
sorry. I didn't know. I know we're talking a lot about Tom Cruise, but I didn't know like they did like special angling techniques to make him look like tall,
Not
the same
just
height
not
as
just
everyone
him
else.
either. Jason Statham is pretty short too.
Yep.
I think he's
Yeah,
like
I've seen him in
5'4" or
person.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
he's-
Jason
he's-
Statham can beat up Tom Cruise, so you know, don't say to him.
Ooh, can
I'm
he?
pretty sure.
I think
Tom Cruise had like a
has
black
superpowers.
belt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I'm sure he has a belt that's black. I don't think it has anything.
I
to do
watched
with
No,
Red
martial
Man
the
arts.
hang
actual
on to a
change. I
plane.
think it's Kung Fu.
Outside.
He has
man.
that.
belt.
When it comes
Very
down to it, I
nice
wouldn't fight crazy.
Versace
So.
belt worth more than my whole apartment. I'm sure.
But the fact in Mission Impossible, the one where they had Henry Cavill, he's like 6'2", he's tall,
Yeah, he's
and
big.
they made him look on the same plane with Tom Cruise. I was like, oh,
It was
Tom
pretty
Cruise
funny.
probably popped up his little box.
Hollywood magic right there. Yeah, that dude's
Right?
like 5'6", but
That's what they did for Scarlett Johansson, and a lot of the shots where they were with Steve and like Thor, because she's a little tic tac. She's my high, like 5'2", and she would
I
have to
did not
stand
know
next to
that.
Chris Evans, who's 6'3". He's tall. I don't care. I'm like, Hollywood just does not care. They trick you.
Magic.
They really don't care about your feelings.
Who had to wear stilts in the movie? Was it the Fast and the Furious?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise in most
no.
movies.
Oh, no, he makes people walk on their knees. Tom
That's
does
true.
not.
Wow, it's aggressive.
Lord Farquaad. He probably had to wear
Oh.
some stilts.
Oh God, Lord Farquaad.
But listen, going
I'm sorry,
back
it's
to
Shrek's 20th anniversary.
I'm
praise
with-
Shrek, y'all.
I'm with
Praise Shrek.
Miles. I don't see this happening. I don't see it as being a thing. I think it's just people talking. But if it was true, okay, I would want him to have that Keanu Reeves type role where you're not really like the main character. You can be a
You know
side
what?
character. You
I
can be an
think it could
important
be
piece.
true. Because and this is like a weird tangent, but if The Walking Dead TV show does well, it'll give a lot more actors the props to go into video game related content. Because that's the Mortal Kombat movie. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but it's not bad compared to the other Mortal Kombat movies. So I think if that TV show does well, we're going to see a lot more big names migrate into video game related media.
Yeah, I forgot who said it earlier. I kind of cut out, but it is the most popular thing out here. It's the big ticket thing, video games. So I mean, heck, we got a second installment to Shaq Fu. So I mean, anything is possible.
That's true.
Not everything should be.
I mean,
ain't
Shaq
never
Fu 2
lied.
happened. Like that was very real. Actually, I think I
It
can.
happened and it went away.
It did. It happened, and I bought it.
It
And it was
happened.
stupid. It's a stupid game, right? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but
lie.
in 20
You know what
years,
made me
we'll
buy
have
it?
the copy.
I bought it because I wanted to play as Obama. That's the only reason I bought this game. That is the only reason. But it was a terrible.
And put that back on the shelf.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Back
I'm with Matt. Put
What?
that back on the shelf.
Terrible.
What did I
Fame, you know I don't rip into your game choices because I play Anthem, so I have no reason to speak, but I can't believe you bought that game.
It's a piece of history. He's holding a relic that will be cherished until the end of time.
Legendary.
The game
See,
no one
his
saw
history
coming.
With
Coming
Scott
back.
Pilgrim. I gave him Scott Pilgrim because that is a great game, and he got the new edition, the new re-release. But Shaq Fu with Obama?
You don't
That
see
actually-
Obama and Scott Pilgrim. Just saying.
Boom.
I mean, there's probably a mod. I mean, if there's a Fly Swatter mod for Resident Evil 8, there's Obama mods.
Bro, the horny police need to investigate the modding community for Resident Evil Village, bro.
Yeah.
Because some of those, I'm like, wow, the horny police need to be called. It's
Man,
pretty
you snitching?
have you
Are
looked
you
at the
snitching,
internet? They're pretty busy these days. They've got a full plate.
Yeah, it's wild out here.
I don't think we can give them more to do.
Bonk. Bonk. Dude, when I see the bonk tweets come out, that is
I
the
have to
best.
lay some bonk tweets down because I'm like, you were too horny. I'm looking at you and I'm saying you're too horny. That's a lot.
Bro, it like the thick mod. Yep, that's what it's called. Oh
Oh, I
god.
hate that mod.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. My YouTube, I clicked on one. My YouTube feed is ruined now until the end of time. Every time I open up YouTube, it's just thick Lady D. I'm like, damn. God.
Wait, you
And
can't
he clicks on it
abbreviate
and watches it.
You can't abbreviate it that way either. Thick lady D. Like,
Yeah.
Don't worry, somebody will
I
click
searched
that
it one time.
He's like, it was just an accident. I spelled it wrong. Oh,
And you're never getting rid of it.
Oh,
Bugger.
oh. Don't look, guys. It's dangerous.
Why?
It's dangerous down there to go along.
Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah. So
That's what happens on this podcast. Jesus.
yeah, it just
Mhm.
oh Predator.
No.
Predatora, the Explorer.
I can't deal with you guys, man. But
I don't know what you're talking
honestly
about.
though, I as long as he's not the main character and you just hear his voice reading every typical, Bethesda line, I think we'll be able. Ooh. I would like to see Tom Cruise as the bad guy in Starfield. First off, once again, we don't know. We could be playing Minesweeper in space.
That'd be cool. I'm down for Minesweeper.
It'll never get beat.
Anybody ever beaten Minesweeper?
Somebody put up on TikTok
Did anybody
earlier how to
ever
actually
Yes,
play the game.
and now I know how to play the game. Thank you, TikTok.
And now I
didn't
want to
know.
play it. And now I don't
should
have
just
it.
press buttons.
I didn't know there
I'm
was
all
rules
for
to the game.
I mean,
Yeah, imagine
Tom
that,
Cruise
rules to a game.
tried to be a villain in the latest Mummy movie, and that didn't really work out. I can't see him as a villain.
Look,
In
Tom
my head.
Cruise succeeded to being a villain in real life. Okay, does he really? Need
That's
to do
true.
that?
That's true. You're right.
You don't talk about Ethan Hunt. You leave him alone.
Love Ethan Hunt. I'm
You
a
know
big
who's
fan of
villain?
the Mission Impossible movie. Who?
PC players, because we're taking all the PlayStation exclusives now.
Why?
Ratchet
listen,
Clank
listen.
like
you're
it
gonna
might be
start a
coming.
riot. You're gonna start. Look, I love, and I do. That's a nice transition, right? I do want to talk about it because
I'm trying to get on all the hater lists.
we've been
So
telling
I'm on a
people.
PlayStation hater list.
We're gonna be telling. Yeah, I got on that list too, and I felt like I was somebody because I was up there with Destin Legary and Jeff Grubb, and we're all on the same list
Right.
of PlayStation haters on Twitter. I love it.
It's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, Mom, look. I
Pretty
screenshot it and sent it to her. I was like, Mom, I'm a designated hater.
Listen,
The
I do
internet
find
said
it
so.
interesting that this is the second game in the PS5 generation that was, when it was shown as a PlayStation 5 console exclusive. Just for it to turn around later on and say, oh, it's just PlayStation 5 exclusive. I don't think that a $1 billion company is going to make the same mistake twice in less than a year if this is something that's not happening, right? Number one, we were telling people forever this is coming, right? They're already dipping their toe in the water with Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn. I can tell you right now, God of War and other games are coming. This is happening. This is happening. It's happening, okay? It's happening. I don't think people quite realize or want to accept the fact that this is happening. Now, could I be wrong? Possibly, but the things I've heard from people that I trust, not wrong. This is happening. So I do want to get the panel's thoughts on what we saw as far as, number one, that trailer was beautiful, but the ending when we saw PlayStation 5 console exclusive, and now this is the second time we've seen this, is this what we can consider, for people who won't believe it, confirmation that this is the future, this is happening?
You know, I think.
Nope, Dallas. I'm looking the wrong point. I pointed the wrong way.
I was gonna say, I think you so wrong that I'd be willing to eat a head if you were right.
We've been down this
Oh,
road.
We've been down this road. Listen,
I mean,
Goodness.
anyone,
That's why I said that. Like, it's
Want to eat a head?
throw them all on PC.
if you want to eat a hat, make the bet with me, because I'm telling you, I'm have a lot of people eating their beanies over the next couple of
Now
months.
that was a Demon God Reviews reference.
if you guys are going to do that bet, we'll save it for November 6th for Dallas to Eat That Hat on our extra live stream.
No, Dallas is on my
Right.
side.
Yeah, no,
Dallas
I
knows
ain't
this
eating
is
that.
happening.
Oh,
That was my those is my Demigod review bars. Nah, because I can't wait to see that, and that would be a perfect
Right.
time to do it. As a matter of fact, nah, but throw all them games on PC. What you talking about? Every last one of them.
I just want to see the awesome mods. Like
That,
honestly, that's
you know
what I
how
Mods
want.
save a lot of games.
you know how much improved every game is after hitting PC and being there for a little while. Like,
Yep.
throw that shit over there, cause I want to see what
Imagine
happens next.
imagine what random modded games that are gonna evolve out of this. Like just think about like whatever reskinned, like whatever. It just yeah.
Yeah, because the PC community and the modding community is freaking insane.
It
Mal,
depends. Some
I do
mods
want to get
are
your
some
thoughts
games are
about that.
easier to mod than others.
I just saw them make
True.
freaking Omni-Man in GTA 5.
That one was
Well,
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well,
Why
They can
can't
put
I
GTA 5
us in
code has been
GTA
out there.
5. Yeah. They can put
Hey,
us
I
in
hope they
GTA
put
5
Miles
at
in
this
there
point.
because I be playing that game all the time, unironically.
Whoa.
And I just want to be like, that's my.
Because
I know him.
Miles, you do cover you guys cover everything Xbox and Windows, and of course Microsoft is diving headfirst into PC gaming. I do want you to get your thoughts about PlayStation currently dipping their big toe in the water to see if it's warm.
Yeah, this is something that people get up in arms about real fast. And I've made this statement publicly many times, but oh Lord, they coming. Jim Ryan has
That's
told
us.
you himself that PlayStation is shifting their strategy. They were using games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding as tests because in no short words, they were afraid of retaliation from their fandom, realistically, is what Jim Ryan said in that GQ interview. And so they saw that they put those games out, they sold well, and they're like, okay, cool, this is something we will keep doing in the future. What their strategy is and how they're going to do it while maintaining this console-focused business strategy is going to be interesting because they've built up this whole thing like you have to buy a PS5 if you want to play these games, but a year, 2 years from now, we're going to get to a point where PS5 games are launching day and date on PS5 and PC. That is going to be the future. It won't necessarily be every single PlayStation 5 game, but there will be PlayStation 5 games that launch day and date on PC. I see that happening, and I see that happening much sooner than a lot of people expect. So, yeah, it's happening. They have told you it's happening, and people still don't want to believe that it is happening.
It's a whole revenue stream that it's untapped for them. And what we like, Miles, to echo what you're saying, we see them right now shifting, not so much shifting, but concentrating really hard on their AAA first party exclusives. Like that is our main focus, main game is just putting out these amazing experiences from PlayStation, and they can take that and then trickle them out over onto the PC side. And then they get it all, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to have to release all PlayStation exclusive titles on PC in one shot. Do like Ratchet a year after. And they just slowly put this out, and then as they do that, fans don't necessarily, maybe wouldn't get as in a big uproar. They would just see these titles very progressively and slowly over time make their way over. And like you said, then it's just, yeah, it's day and date. And why not? From the business side, they're losing out on huge dollars for these titles that make them billions of dollars already. But if you're going to take a Spider-Man exclusive on PlayStation, why wouldn't you want it on PC? And then mods for Spider-Man?
Everybody and their
Yeah.
mother's gonna
Give me
buy it
Venom.
again. Like
There's no lose
I
on
would buy it
PlayStation in
again.
this. Like PlayStation
know-
doesn't lose in this situation because
No.
I mean let's keep it real. If there's any profitability from the hardware, it's very minuscule. Most of the profitability comes from software, comes from the games. They tout millions and millions of games being sold. And the people who are in love with the PlayStation brand, like I want a PlayStation, I want the hardware, are still going to buy the hardware. So
Just
there
like
is
Apple.
no lose except for the small minority that we all see on social media, on Twitter and other spaces. That minority, they're going to lose. They're going to get those people up in arms. But the casual gamer is a PlayStation gamer. They buy PlayStation because it is a brand. It is synonymous with gaming. Nintendo and PlayStation. So someone who isn't on social media, isn't doing YouTube, isn't doing gaming stuff, all they know is the new PlayStation is out. They don't know that game is also on PC. They don't know, and frankly, they don't care. There's no way Sony can lose or PlayStation can lose in this, other than the small minority that we hear and that are so loud on social media.
And you get that with the family walking in to Best Buy when it's open, and they go in there, and that's often the example I use, because we are very much, all of us sitting here are very much in this whole little echo chamber. It's very loud. But I think often of that example of like the family walks in to Best Buy at the holiday season and they go, I heard my kids raving about a new Spider-Man game. What's it on? Is it on Xbox or PlayStation? It's on the new PlayStation. Okay, it's right there. Done. And then they go home with that, and that's the end of it. And then that's their console for years. They're not walking in going, well, I need to spec out a giant PC for my kid.
Exactly.
Just think, well, what's the easiest way to get this? Now, for people that are hardcore and they go, well, I can have a Last of Us experience on my PC. Are you kidding me? If they can handle it, they're going to do that. They're going to want to do that.
Just imagine a parent walking in and saying, hey, where's Spider-Man? Oh, it's on PlayStation. But is it playable anywhere else? Yes, also playable on PC. We won't buy it then. Like, that's not a thing. It'll never happen.
It's not real.
People have that mentality that because it's one place, it's also on PlayStation. Yeah, Jimmy's not gonna like that. It's on PlayStation. That it's also on PC. He's not gonna want me to buy it. Like, come on, dude. It's silly.
Hunt Jamie like a football if that's his mindset.
I mean, it feels like we have to talk about this like every few months because it always comes up. But I feel like the facts of the situation are this. A gaming PC that is going to rival or surpass the current gen consoles has a much higher bar for entry than just buying a console.
Yeah.
It's a higher cost, more maintenance involved to it. And if you want to build one yourself, there's the whole learning curve of knowing what to do, what parts to pick will work well with each other, all that kind of stuff. It's not for everybody, right? The console is the easy turnkey purchase to, I buy this, I plug it into my TV, I insert game or download game, I play game. It's much quicker, much easier. That's what families are going to go to. There's no, when it comes to cross-platform stuff, I feel like there's no losers in releasing your game on another platform aside from the people who are so bent out of shape and have their heads so far up their own butts that they feel they have some sort of stake of ownership in this console company. But even then, if you were a literal stakeholder, you'd want them to release the games on other platforms because that means more profits, which means more money for you. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. People who want to be upset will be upset, but there's no real loser. I think the sweet spot for Sony is going to be timed exclusives. I think the norm for them is going to be, hey, our biggest blockbuster major AAA stuff is going to be 1, maybe 2-year exclusive to our console. And then once sales start to dwindle and we could use another good bump for that game, boom, it's available on PC now. And you just sold millions of more copies, and all you had to do was flip a frickin' switch. So there's no loss. And the people who really want to play it right away, they're going to buy a PlayStation to do so. And the people who have a giant backlog of games like me and probably won't get to all of them anyway, I might wait for it to come to PC. But I'll probably still buy a PlayStation anyway because I like having all the consoles and stuff. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like you have to actively look for reasons to be upset because you enjoy being upset if you want to get mad about a game being released on a different platform.
I wonder because what's weird about this situation is the fear of the backlash from the fan base came from the top. Like, that came from the face. Like, Jim, he put that out there. So I wonder, do they lean real heavy on the minority in terms of getting out the not necessarily marketing, but marketing? Like, do they lean real heavy on the fan base, on the rowdy few? Like, and to lose that, do you think maybe that was why they were initially worried about it in the beginning?
I think it's just been their go-to for so long. They've been pushing this idea that PlayStation is a console. PlayStation is hardware. And that is something they've been hammering to their fandom, like with marketing and with releases. So people buy into that. There's a group of people who have bought in and said, PlayStation is this, and I support this. And then when you shift that and you change what that is, people have an identity crisis. I'm like, wait, PlayStation isn't this? PlayStation is this? And yeah, to some of the previous points made, there is this kind of vocal minority that just gets this sick satisfaction from being able to play a game that someone else can't. And because they can play it and someone else can't, that makes the game better to them, which is it's unhealthy. It's a very
Escape
unhealthy
from
state.
Tarkov.
It's a squeaky wheel kind of thing. I feel like the stupidest, most whiny people are often the loudest. And so that's who, when Sony's doing their market research, that's who they're going to see. Those are the voices they're going to see. So it's going to make them hesitant. But then when they actually do the thing and realize, hey, you know what? 90% of our fan base was really okay with this, and we made a ton of money doing it. Okay.
And this is where I've seen this on other.
We carry on.
I've said this on other shows too, and Snips, I'm with you that. And there's still always the conversation around console war to some degree somewhere in the internet, and I don't agree anymore because I feel like they are just on two completely different trajectories. They're trying to go after two different lines of business, and they just have different strategies now. And you see, like, even if PlayStation's like, well, if people say, well, PlayStation's just doing the same thing Xbox is or similar because they're going after PC now, I'm like, not really, because Snips, to your point, I'm like, if you want Last of Us, you'll get a PlayStation, or you'll get it there first because you want that game. You know you want that game. You're gonna get that game, and then we'll push it out in a year, 2 years, all prettied up in a bundle on PC, and there you go. And Xbox is like, that's great, and it's AAA, beautiful experiences, and Xbox will have its experiences, and they're like, but we want to get people everywhere. We want to cast the biggest net, and we want to grab everybody. Whether you play for 40 minutes on one game on Outriders, or you're gonna play, the next Halo that's coming out, right? And you're gonna live off that for a year if it comes out.
A game can
But
release.
I feel like there's no war anymore on that.
A game can release on PlayStation day one, $70, and in 2 years they'll sell it for 19 as the greatest hits. And then they can, at the same time, by selling it for 19 as the greatest hits, you sell it for 50 on PC, and people are going to buy it because they probably don't have a PlayStation. That is the ultimate win.
Less than a year ago, and this is my biggest reason why people don't have a console war or whatever. Atlas released Persona 4 Golden. That game is 13 years old, and they sold over 1 million copies in less than a month.
At full price.
At full
price, and I bought it.
That's the thing about PC gamers too, is like when a game gets re-released like that, and the price isn't what the current sale price is on console or whatever, they're not really upset. Like if you look at the reviews for Horizon Zero Dawn and these PlayStation formerly exclusives that are coming to PC now, the reviews are awesome. Can you do this game next? Like they want to spend their money, they want to buy more games, and they're willing to do it at a higher cost because they get that there was probably some labor and stuff involved in porting this over to PC, and we want you to do a good job of it because we like good playing experiences. So yeah, take my money. I want the game. So here you go.
But I do that. Like, I'm silly and a weirdo because I will go and I have Disney Plus, and I have all the Marvel movies there, and I have them physically because I enjoy that collection. I do not need that. My wife says you do not need that. I say I understand. I'm going upstairs, but I want it because it's what I enjoy. And it's like that movie may have come out 6 months ago. Well, guess what? It is still $30 on 4K for Endgame, but I want it. Or they come out with the Steelbook series, right?
Digital copy.
For the most part, human society, and it's kind of messed up in some ways when you think about it, human society has evolved past the point of being driven by need. For the most part, we don't needs, like, we expect our needs to be met somehow already. We're kind of privileged when it comes to that. We're driven by want. So it's not, do I need this second copy for my PC when I already have it on console? That thought doesn't really go through our minds. Unless you've got, somebody else in the equation who's like watching your finances very strictly or something like that. But most of the time, it's, do I want this?
Don't bring my wife into this.
I was about to say that.
I didn't want to name anyone specifically. But what I find most interesting about these discussions whenever they come up, nobody ever really seems to mention Nintendo. Because Nintendo's that perfect example we're
because
kind of doing
Nintendo's
our own
different,
thing.
man.
They're that we've already been doing our own thing. Y'all have your console war or whatever. We'll keep charging $59.99 for Breath of the Wild 20 years from now. Breath of the Wild 4 comes out.
I think Nintendo gets the leeway because they literally kind of saved the gaming industry in the 80s. 1983, they made sure that the gaming industry didn't crash, and people don't forget that.
I don't know. I'm
And
too much
don't
of
let them
a.
go.
It's not what have you done for me. It's what have you done for me lately kind of thing.
Because I
Y'all
guarantee
want
you,
fast
That's not
travel?
Nintendo.
$30.
No, but you can't live off that forever. Like, come
I
on,
guarantee you, every single one of our mothers at some point called a console of ours that wasn't Nintendo. That's
Nintendo.
Yep.
everything's Nintendo. Get off that Nintendo. Take out the trash. I'm like, Mom, this is a Dreamcast, but yeah,
I think
man.
what people are
That's when you get a shoe
freaking-
thrown at you or something. Yeah.
I think
You
what
know
people are
what- you know
freaking
what's
out
so-
about this. Oh,
No,
I'm sorry,
go
Baron.
ahead.
You
Go
go
ahead.
first,
No,
you handsome
you
boy.
go. I talk way too much. Go ahead. You got
Okay.
this.
Wait, you don't do that when we interrupt you.
It's supposed to be
Because
both y'all
Baron,
talk
I mean,
at the
look
same
at him.
time,
He
and
looking
whoever's
extra
louder.
crispy,
with the pineapple bun. Look at him.
right?
You just saying it because his hair go up.
Why people are kind of like, I don't care about things going up. Why people
Oh,
are losing their minds is Horizon once. No, not necessarily Horizon, but Days Gone 60 FPS announcement went to PC. Death Stranding 60 FPS announcement went to PC. People were like, okay, if it gets that Last of Us, just their 60 FPS announcement, it's going to PC. People are losing their minds. Oh, it's a trend. It's like, but don't you want these companies, especially like small companies, to have this money to make the next game? Because Days Gone, they were begging people to buy the game. They want to have the money to do a second game, but they'll probably never get to do a second Days Gone. Don't you just want? I don't get that water cooler talk of, oh yeah, I played God of War, man. You're not going to be able to play it forever or at all. But let me tell you about these great experiences. Don't you want to have that communal, like, this game was great. You remember this part? Oh yeah, I remember that part. That was great. Don't people want that?
You know what? My super uber spicy out of this world hot take is in like 10, 15 years, it wouldn't shock me if Sony pulled a Sega and just made games. Like it really wouldn't shock me at all because you guys brought up Nintendo, how we don't talk about Nintendo. Nintendo does what they want. Nintendo ain't going.
I don't care.
Proof is in the pudding that we're buying a 4 or 5-year-old game at full price. On the same platform with no DLC, like DLC doesn't exist. They haven't even done a special edition DLC package, and we're still buying that.
They put a multiplayer thing in with a. It doesn't work.
No, they just charged $8 for a
Yeah.
calculator, and it's probably being purchased just to say you own it.
See?
They're mean about it.
God.
Too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, bro, they made a Mario game and took it away. They literally just did that, and
Man,
it's
don't-
okay.
if you post a hand-drawn Mario on your YouTube, you're gonna get a strike.
Oh,
yeah.
Sir, that is our intellectual property. How
right?
dare you?
But check
How
this out. So then you have
Fair.
Microsoft over here doing like the wide net, like that was mentioned earlier. You know, I just want people playing in our ecosystem. And then you have Sony, who's, grounded in console, barely dipping into PC. And we know that they're not making a fortune on the console. That's not where, their major dollar, that's not where it's coming from because they sell it at a loss anyway. So it wouldn't shock me if 10 to 15 years it was just Sony published. Like they'd make more money in terms of profit. Not all, the numbers wouldn't be as big, but it would all be profit. That's just, my random hot take I could see in 15, 20. You guys can call
But
me
that would
live.
kind of be the evolution. The only reason we're at a standstill with like GPUs right now with PCs is we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we haven't been able to build the GPUs. But
What?
I think that's
Okay, what?
You don't know what a GPU.
You guys have
Do you know what a GPU is?
No,
We're in
what's
the
what's a
middle of
pandemic?
We're in the middle of a
I don't know. It's a panoramic.
Panasonic.
Panoramic.
I forget what it is.
Pendulum?
A
Yeah.
pendulum. Yeah.
like
Pendulum.
that.
It's a pendulum we're in. Okay.
Rona, the hardware store. She decided to.
I keep
spread
hearing
some stuff out.
Rona. People shout Rona a lot. I'm like, but they closed down.
They did. They really did.
Canada's
said-
weird.
Isn't it?
Mountain
I keep shouting Rona at us.
It was shorts weather here, and now it's snowing, so I don't even know what to do. So, but these companies, I think what we also need to realize is these companies don't give anything about us. We sit here, we talk about games every week. We're smart. We're also not going to buy that game, but the whales, will buy the game. I think we've seen that from EA with FIFA and Madden and all these kinds of stuff. They don't give
Roster update central.
Listen, I'm ready for the day where I buy my Samsung TV and I unbox it, and there's an Xbox controller
It comes
in
with a
there, and I
controller.
can just sit down
That-
and play
dude.
Xbox Game Pass. That's going to be a beautiful day.
And it comes with a free 3-month, like the cards in there next to the controller.
Yes,
Like,
that's
and-
gonna be a
yeah, bro,
wonderful day.
that's
I think that's where Baron, you're right. Like where you could see PlayStation going down that path 10 years from now, where it is just PlayStation games, and they're going down that path. And you see Xbox currently shifting their focus and everything away from the conversation surrounding Xbox, the physical hardware of itself, and the thing that is attractive and what they want you to talk about is Game Pass on everything. Whereas open up your Samsung TV, please, and turn on Game Pass. I want you to play it on an Xbox, but I want you to play it on your phone. I want you to play it on your TV or whatever you want to do. But Game Pass is the thing. And I could totally see that, to your point of like, well, PlayStation just wants you to have banger AAA experiences, and it's got the PlayStation logo on it.
I know it seems extreme because PlayStation is the best-selling console. Like, I understand that just hearing that, it kind of sounds like, like, this dude's got his tinfoil hat on. But they sell them at a loss. Like, and everybody wants to make money. Like, if making money is the sole purpose of a company, what would be the best way? Let me just double down on games, which would be cheaper to make than these consoles. And let me just put out games on PC and and then double down on PS Now. Like, let's mirror the company that's already doing it very successfully.
Yeah.
Can't hurt. It all it is profitable. Like, and let's be honest with Xbox, they're not even marketing the console. Like, I don't ever feel like Microsoft is trying to sell me an Xbox.
That's selling you Game
They're trying
Pass.
to get me to sign up for. They're trying to get me to sign up for Game Pass. It's never only playable on Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. Oh, day one. Xbox Game Pass. Like, that's all. It's always just the pushing of the service, which we all know makes more money long term, especially if people sign up and do automatic payments and forget. Like, it just, man.
All Xbox has to do is put out one game for you as the one who just lets that subscription lapse, and they go, all right, I'll keep it going for another month, another 3 months.
I'm still playing Outriders.
There you go.
Actively.
Me too.
All right.
I wonder if from
cool
Dallas has been really quiet. And I wonder if from Dallas, because before Dallas became a quote unquote Xbox, he got an Xbox and forgot he had a PlayStation. He did.
He's not eating right now.
Every time I look up,
Yeah, it's weird.
I might not be.
I didn't forget I had a PlayStation. I remembered I had Game Pass.
But
That's straight up what it was.
As someone who originally was primarily on PlayStation, and you got your gaming PC and you got your Xbox, do you sort of foresee like a future like Baron is saying where you could see him sort of going in line of what Microsoft is doing, but it's not really about the hardware, it really is about the software, and let's put it as many places as possible?
From where I'm sitting, and if we're talking about just what I want to see, I want to keep buying PlayStations. If there's ever any available for me to buy. But Baron does have a point. Like, it makes a lot of sense. The more he breaks it down, and like, I was listening to him talking, I was thinking, what not? And then the next thing he said, kind of killed it for me, because like, it's making more and more sense the more you talk. I just, as a fan, don't want to see it because I want to keep buying PlayStation.
Right.
But,
like, I still have my Sega Genesis, so look.
But when it comes down to it, I think for them it is about just making those games, and you can see a little more bread if you weren't losing it on R&D and then actually manufacturing consoles. So I don't know. I think you got a point.
I think the biggest selling factor from a company's perspective is when you're a console manufacturer and you want to make and sell games, your market share, as it used to be, your market share was determined by how many consoles you sold. I can only sell, I'm only going to sell so many copies, as many consoles as I've sold, because I'm sure there's weird exceptions where somebody buy multiple copies of a game for one console, but generally speaking, however many consoles you sold, you could expect to be that many game sales roughly. Now that's changing. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. Maybe I sold 3 million consoles, but I have the potential to sell 20 million copies of my game if I open it to other platforms. When games are the more profitable part of that business transaction, why would you not want that?
Death of consoles. Oh God, no.
Yeah, I think we are moving into.
No, like I said, consoles are still going to always exist.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Not everybody's like me. I'm okay with spending thousands of dollars building a PC every couple of years because I like it, I enjoy it, I nerd out on it. Most people aren't like me. Most people I want to buy this box. It's neat and tidy. It's cheaper. It's self-contained. I buy it once. It's good until the next one comes out in 6 to 10 years.
And
This is the new console.
Most times, not even sometimes. Most times, it's not even that much thought going into it. It's just I see a commercial. Oh, that looks cool. Where can I get it?
Yep.
It's not even that much thought. Excuse me.
But yeah,
Me
it's
personally,
like-
I'm a kind of
I'm
like
about to die.
I'm a physical collector. I don't ever want to see physical consoles go away. I love like you can only see like a very very small portion of my game collection behind me because the rest is over there. But I love physical games. I love physical consoles. I love still having, a hard, I got my Series X, but I got 2 Xbox One X's over there. I got an Xbox One S. I got another Xbox Fat Boy in the room. I got my 360
It's just
here.
what's in reach.
I got all my old school consoles at my mom's house. It's like I love the physical box, and I know it's going that way, but I'm not going to say that I'm
Don't
happy
we
about
all?
it because
I was gonna say, all you got to do is turn around and grab that copy of Shaq Fu 2.
I was gonna say, what are you gonna play Shaq Fu on?
right. That's what I'm saying. So I know it's going that
Gotta
way.
love that physical box.
Love
Or you know what it could do? Like the Cyberpunk, because I bought it for PC.
There.
Physical, you got the box and everything. Inside, it's just a code. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you.
I don't want that
Awesome,
either.
great. Thanks, guys.
I want a physical disc, and I know disc are
Yeah, but then we
And the
run into
box.
the problem that we're having with the PS4s is once that CMOS battery dies, you can kiss everything you've ever done goodbye.
No. Even because here's the thing, like and I know we gotta switch topics here, but I play games on Game Pass, but I also buy the physical copy, and I'll never undo the wrapper. It just sits there because I want a physical copy of the game because I think it looks pretty, man. I'm old. I'm 34 years old. I've always had physical media. I want to continue to have physical media. Like I want the next iteration of the physical Xbox if there is one, right? I don't want a digital future. I know it's coming. I just don't want it. But I do. I know we have to move on to our last topic of the day, I believe. AT&T and Warner Media are doing some type of weird little merger to create a spinoff. Don't take that verbatim. Something along that lines, right? But the key is that with this happening, Warner Brother Games will be split in a couple of different ways. Some will stay, some will go. There's rumors of different, studios heading to different directions, right? So with that being said, thinking about the different, because Warner Brother Games has some huge studios, right? Some of the biggest games we've heard are coming out of there, right? So I do want to get your thoughts, and I'm gonna start again with you, Miles, of your thought process or your guesses on where you think if these studios really are split and sold off, where you think some of these studios can go. Because I'm almost certain none of these are gonna quote unquote. I mean, it can't be independent because they're being sold off, but I do think some of these will end up as some powerhouses already, some Tencent, Microsoft, Xbox. But I want to get your thoughts on that, Miles.
Yeah, so we had the kind of rumblings that Warner Brothers was looking to sell earlier on in the year, and there was the rumor that Xbox was going to buy them up. And so this kind of made me see this coming because they were trying to get rid of this element of their business or restructure this element of their business, and it was probably just easier to sell it off. But when these conversations were happening originally, it's a tough sell to buy all of WB. Because as much as WB Games has in terms of like IP, a lot of that's licensed. And so buying those licenses is super complicated. You have to pay licensing fees. So now that things are being kind of torn down and restructured a bit, I want to see Xbox swoop in and pick up the All-Star Studios, the obvious gets. NetherRealm, Rocksteady in particular. If I was Xbox, I would be picking up the phone, making some calls, trying to lock those down because you're adding 2 incredible teams to Xbox Game Studios, and then we can finally get Mortal Kombat Cross Killer Instinct as well from Ed Boon. But yeah, I didn't see anyone buying WB Games as it was because you don't really get that much. You get some talented teams, but you don't get a lot of IP.
Studios.
you don't get Batman. That's what everyone thought too, is you don't buy WB games and get Batman. That's not how that works. So this makes, a couple teams in particular, I think, a lot more appealing for Xbox, especially. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people kind of eyeballing, especially NetherRealm and Rocksteady.
NetherRealm is the one because that's the one who has the IP, right? When you think of Rocksteady, you think of the Arkham Knight games, but you're not getting Batman. You have to renegotiate a deal with that. But Rocksteady has the Mortal Kombat IP, and that's the one IP you don't have to worry about having to negotiate because it's going to come along with it. But I want to get your thoughts as well, Matt.
I'm just looking at this, and I agree with Miles that, you're not going to get the whole thing. And if I'm Xbox, what I would be raving for is for them to be able to acquire just Batman. Like, to be able to negotiate that and have that piece. Gotham Knight has been delayed as well, which is on WB Montreal side, right? Yes. And that's been delayed till next year. Those franchises, and it's very complicated, but I look at it very black and white. I look at PlayStation side with Spider-Man as the poster child for that, and people are buying consoles for Spider-Man on PlayStation side. Xbox does, in my opinion, does not have that superhero iconic franchise holder to be able to put on a box and say, we have Batman or Superman or whatever it is. And people will identify with that, and they know it's over there. And I agree with Miles. If Xbox does anything, go after that. Put all your eggs into that. You don't need everything. I don't think they would be interested in all of that after they just went through acquiring Bethesda, and their library is so big. And there is only so much they can do. Yeah, Microsoft could have dip in their pockets, but at the same time, I think the smartest play will be able to say, we're getting WB with Montreal and Rocksteady, and we're getting these little deals, even if they're licensed for temporary, right? Even if we can get them for a short term, I would want to be able to put out the next Rocksteady game and Gotham Knight on the Batman side and being able to see how that goes for 3 years. And if they're successful and you throw them on Game Pass and all of that, then they see how much they're actually getting out and say, well, that was a good move. Let's look at another game. What do you guys think?
I do think an exclusive Batman would be huge for the Xbox brand, but I think one thing I think they would have to do, because it will be a mistake, is if you were to acquire Mortal Kombat, right? NetherRealm games. I'm sorry, in my opinion, I think it would be a mistake to keep that game exclusive. I think Mortal Kombat has to be it has to be multi-platform.
You know what game they could do exclusive for a limited time, and this because it sits in the Warner Brothers studio, is the Fear series. Do a fresh reboot of Fear, because I know Fear 1, Perseus Mandate, and 2 are like some of the most beloved survival horror first-person shooter type of games. Bring those back and keep them exclusive for like a year or 2 years, and then let them go. Because Mortal Kombat, I don't think you can bring that exclusive. But Fear you can hold hostage to, because everybody remembers Fear 3 and hated it. But you bring back like a Perseus Mandate, something like that. Oh, yeah. I'd be on board with that.
It's not just Xbox. I mean, we know that Sony sees what Microsoft did with Bethesda. We know they're searching out and they're looking for studios as well. So I can definitely see Sony picking up the phone and saying, hey, it might turn into a bidding war, which I don't think at any point you're going to outbid Microsoft. If Microsoft just says, hey, what are they bidding? All right, let's add on top of it. They can do that. I think you should really look at Sony, because they're a competition. But also, every time I look up, Tencent is buying somebody or they're buying stake into somebody. That's the one that I think people need to really look out for, because when you look up and you hear Tencent, purchase the whole shebang-a-bang, I wouldn't be personally shocked, because it seems like monthly we're looking at a studio being purchased or they buying a percentage of a company.
Although, at least here in Canada, and it's not Tencent, but EA, they're getting sued a lot for stuff. Tencent's been holed up. Vivaldi was kicked out a couple years ago for trying to buy up Ubisoft. Canada, at least, I don't know about y'all in your EHA Freedom Land. I love you guys. I don't know what kind of laws you guys got against that kind of stuff, but Canada's been cracking down on those kind of companies.
Poor people, if you have money, you can do whatever you want.
Canada doesn't care. We'll kick you out. Because Vivaldi
You,
tried to buy up all that, and then they said, "Get out if you're not going to make a bid on the company." And Vivaldi didn't want to do that, and they got kicked out.
I wonder, will any of this mess with like the release of these new games that are supposed to be coming out, like Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights? Like, what if something falls apart and it's like the company gets ripped up and these games just don't release, like because they get lost
That
in
could happen
limbo,
too.
in
That would
legal
suck.
limbo. That
Harry,
like
Potter as well is in that.
Yeah.
I
Oh
forgot about Harry
yeah!
Potter.
Oh!
That game is.
That game looks rad. Yeah.
It does.
That's what I've always wanted. Like,
But I think because
RPG
of
Harry Potter sold.
some of JK's, and as much as we say, "Oh, gaming is different," there's a lot of people I know that have been fans of Harry Potter. Once JK's statements came out about all that stuff, they're like, "Nope, don't want to support it anymore." I was looking forward to that game. Nope, not even gonna touch it now. So they
forgot
also
about
got to
Harry
factor
Potter.
stuff like that in.
And Hitman's in there too, right?
Yeah.
And Shadow of
Hitman.
Mordor.
Yep,
Yes.
that's already on Game Pass though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Release the Nemesis system.
Yeah. Do it the system itself. Let me take that and put it in the Batman game with Rocksteady.
Thank you. That's what we got a whole like hour podcast talking about how there's
You know
like,
what? They
that
can
was
put in
supposed
a
to be the
Batman
next-
game that runs well on PC because Arkham Knight is garbage on PC.
Still?
That was when they had to
It's
pull
all-
from the store. That was like the first time I've ever seen a game pulled from PC because it was that bad.
It's still bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't run well.
It struggles. But dude, that was supposed to be the next now. And then it became like base destruction. Then that became like old and played out. And what was the next thing to do? You throw in the Nemesis system on top of every open world game. Name an open world game, and Nemesis system would make it that much more replayable. Like
Yeah.
it just. Could
You know we
dude,
haven't
Breath of the
talked
Wild
about-
would have been great with the Nemesis system. This Baklabin, now it's a freaking Moblin. Like it just, it just. Man.
Don't they have some sort of copyright on that though? Isn't that something?
Yeah,
that people...
that's why. Yeah. Release the Snyder cut. Release the Nemesis system.
So whoever
what we haven't
would
talked
get that
about-
studio, get them would have control over the Nemesis system.
Is
What if it lapses
Well-
and then it becomes part of the universe?
it's not even those games. It's they could get a whole collection of Lego games, and I know most people are because I don't know any person under the age of like 15 that has not played a Lego game and will continue to play. I just bought the Star Wars Lego games on May the 4th. The Lego games bring in a lot of money for these companies,
Yeah.
and they're just throwaway games.
Yep. But they do. But like, if you had that on, it doesn't have to be Xbox. But whoever could pick that up, I agree with you. It's the Lego games themselves are massive. Even if you look at like a Lego Movie 2, and you're like, all right, it's not for me. But there are 9-year-olds out there, $50 apparently, and they're gonna go and they're gonna
Jones
eat
one.
that up.
Bikini Bottom.
The
Right.
Lego games are another subsection of games that I would see if purchased by an Xbox. I would see them also allowing it to release on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
They would release it on every system.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Game
some
Pass.
things. Someone brought up a good title in here earlier, and I missed it in the chat. I do apologize, but I just think Demi. He said if they was to get NetherRealms to let Mortal Kombat be multiplat, but then make an exclusive Shaolin Monks game. We need another non.
Shaolin Monks? Oh damn!
We need
After
Did
another,
you
the
not
movie,
see
too,
last-
you had Kung Lao and Lu. Mhm.
give me
2
another.
weeks ago, Ed Boon was like, "What game do you guys want to see come back?" And he did a poll, and it was overwhelmingly Def Jam. And then he's like,
Oh, yeah.
"So Def Jam? What does that mean? Are you gonna bring it back, please, Ed Boon? Please." Like you're a bit of a troll 90% of the time, but like
Ooh.
sometimes
Jade Empire needs to come back.
That was a great game.
that's,
But I'd rather
that'll
have
to go to
KOTOR.
Beamdog,
I'd rather have
and
KOTOR.
Beamdog is full right now. KOTOR is getting a reboot.
I don't want a reboot. I want
I'd
a
rather
new,
have both. in mind.
Yeah.
But Jade Empire has a special place with me because spoiler alert, it's like a 30-year-old game at this point. Get over it. At the very end, I like doing evil playthroughs. That's my thing. Full Renegade all the time. I'll play Mass Effect 57 times, and I'll do full Renegade every single time. We'll never even think about a Paragon choice like, oh, let me switch it. Nope. I'll punch Al-Jalani, and I'll shove that Eclipse Merc out the window every single time I play the game. So it gave me the choice. Like, I had been a jerk the entire game to my allies or whatever. And then it gave me a choice at the very end. It's like, hey, you can try and inspire your friends to rally around you and then beat the final boss. Or you can suck out their souls and consume their power. And I'm like, yes!
Souls.
Yeah,
you sucked everyone's souls.
I just had... And, like, the one of the last guys, who was, like, my first, like, teammate, he, like, looked me dead in the eyes and he's like, you're such a piece of shit. And I was like, I know! Isn't it great? And then I beat the final boss, and it was amazing. And I had a wonderful time playing that game. But it was a blast.
Was a great game.
Once you get into older titles like that, you also run into the technically BioWare does Vivaldi backed out. They don't want to own it. The company that made it is long gone now. So they hang in limbo. And I don't think EA wants them working on a Jade Empire, let's be honest.
No, their plate's full.
Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
They need to prove themselves with their current slate before they start tapping into the back catalog. Because unfortunately, BioWare's, as beloved as they are, their track record has been pretty poor in recent years. A lot of people want to blame EA, but it sounds like fundamentally it's just the management team at BioWare is struggling to delegate, and it's affecting their games. So hopefully, BioWare is turning it around, and we see some amazing stuff. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and then Jade Empire. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
I hope.
Yes. Do it. Do the roar.
I really hope. That would be banging, because, BioWare is just down the street from where I live, and I was talking about this last night on Cogs and Machine. BioWare, at least here in Edmonton, is not as big as it used to be. If they have a couple hundred people working at the office, especially in the Stantec building, I would be very surprised. I don't know how big the Austin studio is, but it's not a massive team that they used to have anymore. It's a fairly smaller team. It's split into two separate... No, actually, it's 4 separate, because they do Neverwinter, they do the Star Wars MMO, and then Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So it's split all up in the place. And I hope they come back and be the bastions they once were.
Listen, you know what time it is. We get to the end of the show. It is time for the panel to give suggestions on. We need a transition. Look, I'm looking at the content director. We need a transition for this time. I'm just saying, somebody in this panel is the content director at Level 1 Gaming, and we need a transition for the end of the show. But as you guys know, we like to give suggestions. Oh, what was it? What you say?
I was about to say, Baron looking at me because we're not talking about him for once.
No, I'm so happy. You don't understand. I thought it was me. I almost raised my hand because I'm so used to hearing like, Baron, we need you to. I was like, yeah. But then I was like, wait a minute. He said content transition. I was like, I don't make transition. I just send emails.
Man,
Listen,
I saw the look on your face when you realized it wasn't you.
Yeah,
it is typically Baron. But yeah, let's do this time. Like, we can use the transition, but you guys at the end of the show, we like to give suggestions. Movie, TV, anime, video game. Something you are playing, something that may be new, something that may be obscure, something you want people to go out and enjoy yourself. Because we don't want to keep things exclusive where no one else can enjoy. We want people to enjoy these things just like we do. So I do want to start with the homie Dallas. Dallas, what are you suggesting for the people to play and or watch this week?
You know what I'm really into right now? Castlevania. Like, I'm really, really digging Castlevania season 4. Probably going to have to watch it again, but I kind of been thinking about starting the whole series over and making some content on it. I don't know. We'll see.
Season 4 is the last one, right? Confirmed?
Yep.
It's the end of it? Okay.
Yep.
I need to watch 3 and 4. I'll probably, like you said, rewatch from 1.
And it's so fire. Like, don't sleep on Isaac. If you're just watching from season 1, don't sleep on Isaac. Also, let me see. What have I been playing? Oh, you know what I want y'all to go play? Kung Fu Kickball. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. And that should be enough right there. Kung Fu Kickball.
I don't know if it's necessarily playable yet, Dallas.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
You have a
No.
preview key, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt,
Didn't they?
Nope.
media privilege.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna scratch
Yeah.
that.
This man is
Well,
showing his
well,
privilege.
Look
Yeah.
into Kung Fu Kickball.
Look
Yeah.
into Kung Fu Kickball because you should really play it at some
Coming
point in
soon
the future.
to the
Some point.
streets.
Yeah, not to level1gaming.com apparently. Nah, but for real, when you do get a chance to play, since we talking about the future, play Seafood too. Because I don't care if it's made by them and it's martial arts, it's for me. Also, speaking of, go play what's the name of that dang game? Absolver. Once again, because martial arts. And that's about it. Anything and everything involving martial arts, especially those two games.
Okay. Baron, what you got this week, brother?
So, I finally put on my brown pants and beat Resident Evil 7.
Hey,
Um, so
for
look, I
you.
sweated though. I had meat sweats the entire time playing it. Look, guys, get out there, wear your brown pants so nobody knows how scared you are, and go play it. It is an intense first-person horror experience. It reminded me of the time I tried to trudge through Condemned Blood Origins. It's
Criminal
just
Origins.
Criminal Origins. There you go. Yeah, that game was just as horrifying. And I've actually been falling asleep to a certain magical index, which when I am awake, it is a great anime. But then my dad mode kicks in, and then like the food settles, and then I'm snoring. Not against the show. It's great when I'm watching it, but the brain tells me to go to sleep.
That one's got some I guess I don't know longevity to it. There's like a lot of spin-offs and stuff.
Yeah,
Starting
like the
with scientific railgun and all other
yeah. So there's to watch it in order. It's like Fate type thing, like the Fate and Order type thing. So a certain magical index, which if you want to watch the dubbed, which some people get mad at, it's I had to put on the old what is that thing called? Where you bounce your hand at it?
Captions?
No.
Titles.
Oh no. Oh no.
Subtitles?
Yeah, we'll just say watch the sub for now.
Translations?
I'm
no,
confused.
Were you stuck on like a Spanish version or something?
No. You have to watch it in a different region. There you go. If you wanna watch it in the dubbed. Yeah, there you go. Thank you
I
guys.
was gonna say sap. Like we're trying.
None of us were close.
Yeah.
Real quick, so y'all know, Kung Fu Kickball is in early access. It's for sale on Steam right now.
Oh. Well,
There
okay.
you go.
So go play that.
Correction.
Receipts.
Snips,
You
what
are
you-
forgiven.
we're sorry, Dallas. Forgive us, please.
Y'all are gonna hate me for this week and possibly for next week. There's really only one thing I'm gonna tell you guys to go watch, play, or do anything with, and that's Mass Effect. Go get Mass Effect Legendary Edition and play it. That's it. I really don't have anything else other than that to say. That's consuming my life right now, and it should consume yours too.
Are you whoring your way across the galaxy?
Whoring.
No.
Wow.
I'm more blasting my way across the galaxy. Like the
Finger
romance
blasting.
options are great and all. Miranda Lawson, cool. But I'm more about punching snide reporters for their insinuations and shoving eclipse marks out of a window of a very tall building.
A lot of people wronged you, Snips.
Yeah.
Right?
The list is pretty
The
long.
list is long, especially in Mass Effect 3 games later. You're like, I remember when I played
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1. I remember that mother effer
Well,
over
I mean, it helps that I played 1 and 2 like 50 times a piece. I played them so much,
Nice.
so it's like ingrained. I have muscle memory that I haven't touched this game in a decade, and I'm still remembering how to do stuff. It's great.
Are you trying like different routes that you never,
Full renegade all the time, every time.
It's
Just how I roll, man.
That's all I know.
That man has his life in order. Floor hugger, what you got, sis?
I'm gonna suggest because we can't do an episode without talking about Game Pass. Right now on there is Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, 2, and 12. So there's tons. They just took off. No,
You skipped
what did
8.
I say? 8. There we go. They just took off 9. You're right. So
They
there's
did take
tons
off
of Final
9.
Fantasy to play. The Final Fantasy MMO, it's free up until Trevor was telling me level 60, which is the first chapter of the game. So go play it. For shows, a series, I'm going to suggest, because if you're going to be watching the Last of Us TV show, you're going to recognize a lot of stuff. Wynonna Earp. It's based off of a comic based off of Wyatt Earp, which was at the OK Corral, which was a real person. And he has to send... Wynonna is his great-granddaughter, and she has to send the demons back to hell that he shot that have come back to Earth. And it's filmed here in Alberta in Springbank. It's really good. And if you want to just have some more Marvel, Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix right now. If you loved WandaVision, didn't even think about it, but Olivia Octavia is Catherine Hahn, who was Agatha. Didn't even think of that. So go have some fun with that. Good movie, too. Support it so they can get a second one popped out.
All right, Miles, you know the vibes. What are you suggesting for the people to play this week? I know you're probably playing millions of things that's not out yet. We know, but stuff that they can actually partake in.
You don't got to flex on us.
Yeah. Your media privilege.
Yeah, media privilege. Jeez. Obscure movie that everyone needs to watch. Just came to Amazon Prime. It's called Repo, the Genetic Opera. And it is the most bonkers musical you will ever see. Takes place in a dystopian future. Actually, not too dystopian, where basically you can't afford healthcare, and so you have to take out a loan on organs.
So
and if you don't,
in America, basically.
Yeah, and if you don't pay your loan back, a repo person comes and rips the organs out of your body and kills you.
Man. The movie with
a musical,
and this is a musical. It is fire,
I didn't know that.
bananas, bonkers. Yes, Repo. If you want something obscure to put on a Friday night, Repo, the Genetic Opera. I can't recommend it enough. It is so weird. And it's got what's her name? The younger girl from the Spy Kids is in it, and she's got some pipes. I'll give her that. She's gaming wise, I have beaten Resident Evil Village 7 times. Resident Evil Village is a blast. Has the best replayability of any Resident Evil game. I think I might be done now. I've gotten almost all the achievements. Beat it on the hardest difficulty, but I still kind of want to play, but I just don't have an excuse at this point. But Resident Evil Village, so good, and so dumb, but I love it. I love it so much.
I think Baron's frozen for real. I can't say.
Baron's frozen in time is amazing.
I wasn't sure if his shock was that just intense.
I thought he was holding that. I am screen grabbing that.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
He is good at doing it.
Did you get it? Please tell me you got it in time.
That was
He's good at popping out before we
just stay.
Catch him. Yeah.
But that was real this time. All right, Matt.
I was going to be impressed.
We gave Matt an hour and a half to get his suggestions together, so I know he got some for us today. A suggestion for people to watch and or play, good sir.
To watch? Don't think like Baron, who's disappeared into the galaxy. Don't have time with the little ones, so you're always exhausted. But do watch Handmaid's Tale. And the only reason I'm into season 4 right now is it is taking a turn, and it's starting to feel like The Division. And I'm in.
Yeah.
It's getting very interesting, where I thought I was going to go like down, and I was like, I wasn't into the beginning of it. Now I'm very, very, very in. So Handmaid's Tale is amazing right now. That is one show that we can stay up for. For gaming-wise, the only thing I've been really playing is I've been on my Xbox a ton. For me, it's MLB The Show, and it's this week is Avengers, just because they have done a slew of their updates.
Yes.
As hard as that game is to swallow sometimes, we just dig down deep, don't we, guys? And we just go for it. Yeah. So I am excited because I was off of it for a little while, and it's just a game where I'm like, oh, okay, they've done an update, but they're doing enough in there where it's starting to get my teeth. I'm trying to get synced back into it, but some of the leveling is better. You have a reason to grind a little bit, and the Iron Man skin for MCU Endgame comes out tomorrow morning. So I am going to spend actual money on that. I'm excited.
Before I give my suggestion, Matt, what do you? Because I love the event we got where you can have 4 Iron Mans. Like I thought that was. I never liked the fact that it can only be one of each hero. What do you think about that? Like, cause I'm cool with having 4 Thors in there. It's wild.
Yeah, you want 4 Hulks? You do your thing. I think at least the option is there, right? But I like it from the player's perspective of like, well, you have Iron Man and I do, and you want to level him up to 50. You're like, no, pick somebody else. Like, it's a mean game of like, I don't know. So I'm glad that they opened that up, and I think what's going to be interesting for that game specifically is where it is even a year from now, removed from all of these updates and all of these things they're trying their hardest to get right, and they still fumble the ball. I'll be curious to see where it actually lands in a year, and hopefully it's in a better spot. The only other thing I will say to Snips is I turned on Mass Effect. I got Mass Effect, and I played 2 originally, and now I've gone back, but I never played 1. So now I am going back through Legendary and playing 1. I'm enjoying myself. About 3-ish hours.
It's you can tell it's like a 14, 17-year-old game. It's an old game, and you can tell.
You can tell.
Remaster helps visually, but it's a little clunky in some parts. But the story is still great. The dialogue is still great. And for me, because I played it when it came out, it evokes a more powerful nostalgia than any other game I could think of. So it's, for me, it's about going back to happier times and kind of playing that. But it still delivers narratively, and then 2 is where it really kind of explodes, and it's like awesome narrative, great gameplay, become friends, and it goes off. It's great.
But I think I'm going to take your advice, because I usually go with any game like that where it's a little bit of, going off into beaten path, whichever path you want to choose.
Right.
I'm usually like the happy guy, or I'm going to be like, I'll save them, or I'll save the universe. I'm going to go evil.
Dude,
I think I will.
It's so fun.
I'm going to have a little fun.
It's so fun.
I'm going to be a bad ass, as they say.
In real life, you can't be evil without hurting people.
Not a good ass.
And hurting people's not cool. But in a video game, I can be full evil.
You could just be blasting fools left and right. You feel good about yourself.
And you could play like 4 times and still have a new experience every time, because maybe you'll go back to a certain place one more time than you did last time, or maybe you'll go this place earlier. There's always something new, because, Mass Effect 2 I played first, like you. Played it in high school because that's when it came out. I was in grade 12. And yeah, there's so many times I've replayed it, I'm like, oh, this is new. Okay, I never experienced this before.
Really cool.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not just what you do, it's the order you do it in, and then you can go back to places that you didn't think anything would happen, and something new will happen there. It's nice. There's neat little things that pop up like that.
Listen, speaking of Mass Effect, if you guys go back and check out our interview we did with Daniel Rain, that was pretty awesome. We have something in the works that's going to be just as awesome. We got some news today about something that's going to be pretty cool. So if you have one idea on some stuff we got going, go back and watch. Yeah, we'll tell you after the fact, but go back and check out our interview with Daniel Rain. Listen, I'm really quick. I know Miles brought up Repo, so I'm gonna go ahead and suggest Repo Man with Jude Law and one-eyed Forrest Whitaker. Same concept. You need to buy a heart. You can't pay your bills. They come and take your heart. Same concept, same thing. For games, of course, sticking with shows, Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2 was out. I didn't know it. Randomly came across my Netflix. Right. It's not as good as Volume 1, in my opinion. Still pretty good. It's about 6 shorts or so, 12 or 13 minutes long. Really, really, really good. So go and check that out. And for games, I know people dislike it and it has some issues that pisses me off, but every day I play Outriders. I'm not addicted to it as I was the Avengers. If I bought the game, I'd be pissed. But the fact that Game Pass allows me to enjoy it that much more, so I'm all for that. So I don't know what Baron has suggested. He been outriding a lot too. He'll probably gonna suggest Rain on Your Parade, because I see him playing that on Xbox Game Pass a lot. It's a stupid game, but it's kind of fun. But it's stupid. But if you want to be a stupid clown pissing people off, Rain on Your Parade on Xbox Game Pass.
It's like Donut County. Like 2 hours and you're done.
Listen, something's going on out there. Listen, as you guys know, we do shows 6 days a week here. Tomorrow is Take Two Podcast. Friday is Peep Games. Saturday is Ready Press Play. We rest on Sundays. It's the Lord's Day. Go watch the On Lord's podcast. Monday we do 15 Minutes of Fame, which you guys seem to enjoy. Tuesdays, Cogs in the Machine. Of course, we'll be back next Wednesday. We had some scheduling things sort of happen, but we're going to get things back in order this week. I want to thank you, a big thank you to Matt for coming on for the first time on Assemble Show. All of his links will be in the description down below. If it's not there live, it'll be there in the next 5 minutes when I get everything shoved into the back end. Miles, once again for Windows Central, thank you for coming in and rocking with us. What happened?
Paul.
Nope.
What'd I say?
Let it go.
What did I say?
I'm hungry.
Purpose.
Okay.
No, let's let it go. I'm hungry.
I'm
It's
my
dinner
house
time.
again. Thank you for coming, rocking with us. Whenever we get our Patreon going and we get a Triple XP podcast, we'll make sure you're the star of the show for sure. Because we know you can give us a good "hoo yeah."
I mean, this episode was pretty triple XP.
There we
We were
go.
riding that
Oh,
edge.
we were tame actually, because none of the memes went crazy. We didn't go crazy. It's
Just wait until fame shoves it all in the back end afterwards.
Whoa, chill.
Mm,
Okay, listen. With all of that said, congratulations, you guys leveled up to 155. This was the Double XP podcast. We will see you guys next week. Get your gaming news from LV1Gaming.com. Stay gaming. Don't be stupid. Have a wonderful day. Later.
사랑해 오빠.